Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We're going to talk about how to gain more market share while fewer realtors are doing more of the deals. So the goal of this webinar is to help you become one of the realtors to go out there and do more deals. So my name is Chris Lopez, and I'm joined here with Jeremy Lambert. What's up, Jeremy?
What is happening, man? Good morning.
Good morning. So I know we got a lot of people filing in here, and we had like 200 plus people RSVPing. So we're gonna give everyone a minute or two to get filtered in here. But while we're getting in here, man, start dropping some notes in here. Number one, if you're outside of Denver, it's always good to know. I think most people are here in Denver, but most importantly, there's some change on the horizon. Some big change on the horizon. I'm always curious on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're not worried at all, 10 being you're quitting the business, worried. Where do you fall on the spectrum? Because as you know, come the summertime, things are changing. Some for the better, some for the worse. So drop in the comments there. 1, 10. I see some fives. Hopefully no tens.
Right.
If you get any tens, but yeah, let us know in there because that gives us a little engagement on what we are expecting to see here for the audience, because we want to keep this interactive. We are going to keep the first half of the presentation more knowledge focused and the second half more workshop focused. So we want participation, and we want to tailor this to actionable items and actionable data that makes sense for you and your business, and not just, oh, cool, I sat here for another hour. 5, 5, 3, 2, 8, 5, 3, 2, 2, 3, 5. Cool. All right. So we will jump into it. My name is again Chris Lopez. I'm a real estate agent here at Your Castle Real Estate. Been here my entire career since 2017. And Jeremy, who are you, man?
I've been in real estate in one way or another for the last 15 years. I love this industry. I have a passion for this industry. I love to see success, and some of the people I see commenting are extremely successful, and some of my favorites. And
I
so,
know.
over the years, I think I've probably interviewed 10,000 agents. So I've seen success, I've seen failure, I've seen train wrecks, right? A lot of train wrecks, right? But I've also seen all these hidden gems, and these hidden gems are the people we're going to talk about today.
Yep.
Right? Like the successful people that no matter what's going to happen, no matter what's going to happen with commission, no matter what's going to happen with the industry, they're going to still go out and perform and produce and adapt. And that's the key. And that's what we want to talk about today is how to get better.
Yes. All right. So as we go through this, don't be shy with questions, comments. You can, that's what we want here. The more engagement, the better. We have our outline, but we're also going to kind of keep it very tailored to what the audience is coming in. And so everyone knows, I would not be sitting here today, and some of the success stories I am sharing here, I would not be able to share those without Jeremy Lambert. I'm one of those 10,000 interviews and one of the probably 2 or 3,000 recruits you did over the years. So thank you.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Great story, man. So I can't wait to relive that a little bit.
Yes, it is a funny story. All right, so we got a lot we are going to cover here today, but the biggest part is there's change on the horizon. We're going to go through and talk about the mindset that top producing agents have. We're going to talk about the 3 pillars I have used when it comes to approaching the business. And actually, Jeremy and Your Castle is also working on a really cool way to actually help agents increase their commission, not through the way of increasing your as an agent, but another way. So, a really cool topic here we can give a sneak peek of. And most importantly, we're going to talk about what you need to know, the number one action you need to know to go out there and be prepared for the upcoming market. And this has been my thesis for everything I built on my business. Then we're doing a workshop. So come prepared and type in questions, type in notes. This is how we all get better. So, there's that old saying, the only constant is change. While it's cheesy, it is true. And, what has happened over the years in pretty much every industry as technology has increased, as market has changed from sports to tech companies, it tends to go to fewer people get more of the market share. I mean, how many Facebooks are there? There's Facebook and TikTok, right? There's not a bazillion. How many Googles are there? Everyone uses Google, right? So a few companies get more and more of the market share. And this is the trend we are going to see here with agents as well. And it's been going on for a while, but the change coming down the road with commissions, commissions getting compressed and changing, it's going to accelerate it. And more deals, we're going to fewer agents. Now, Jeremy, I know we were pulling some stats before, and you were doing some like back of the napkin math. Like, what were those numbers? Because I found them interesting.
I mean, I tell you, the industry right now as a whole is suffering, right? I mean, mortgage rates are incredibly high. Buyers
Wait,
are
they are?
yeah, brand new newsflash. Buyers are sitting it out, right? You know, I
Yeah.
think my friend Lon Welsh said it best at the beginning of all this. He said, the money's going to be made with the people on the fence. Can we educate the people on the fence that it's still a good time to buy or sell or whatnot, right? But I mean, you know, even the publicly traded companies, if you look at like, I don't think there's any publicly traded real estate company that made money last year, right? It's just crazy. I mean, Compass lost $320 million.
I'm not so surprised. That's what they've
Yeah,
been doing the
well,
whole career.
pattern there. I mean, EXP was the closest to being profitable. They still
Yeah.
lost $20 million. Redfin, $140 million loss. Zillow, $150 million loss. Right? Like that trickles down. Companies can't lose money and provide the same type of value. You know, so the winners are going to win, right? And that's where we want to be.
Yeah. And that's one of the great things. Like, even with all this uncertainty and change coming up, since real estate is still such a hyper local and very fractionalized market, there's so much opportunity for, us, the solopreneurs, I say the small people, not the Zillows, not the Redfins, but the individual agents or small teams of agents on here. All right. We're getting, Jeremy, I'm gonna have to talk louder, man.
I can do that. Don't worry about that shit.
I think that was a polite way of saying bring the energy. All right, so our goal here is by the end of this, we want to give you a couple really good tips and walk away with a clear plan and starting point and some resources that Lambert and your cast have been working on to help you thrive in the new market and, most importantly, gain some market share, because you're either growing or shrinking. That is one of my realities in life. You're either growing or shrinking, and it's best to be on the growing side. All right, so we're not going to go through all this matrix here, but Jeremy, what is this?
You know, we like to put agents into buckets, kind of where you are in your career, right? So if you're a brand new agent, you're a new agent. You're still learning. You're trying to master the craft. You're trying to get better. Then there's the emerging agent, and that's somebody who they've done some deals. They're ramping up. They're starting to build their business plan, their marketing plan. You know, they've got the tools in place. Then you got your scaling up agent, and that's somebody who, you know, the production's there and they just want to grow. And then you got your master agent who is income set, spheres set, and they want to outproduce everybody else. Right. And that where start to be team building, or that may be adding an assistant, that may be that side of things. So everybody's going to kind of fit into one of these buckets. It's good to identify where you're at in these buckets. So then you know where you want to go.
So we're going to drop a poll out here. I want to know who buckets themselves as new, emerging, scaling up, or a master agent. Again, because this helps us tailor the presentation to what's going on there. So drop in the chat box, or there should be a poll popping up on your screen here. 3, 2, 1 right now. So drop that poll in there. 1, 2, 3. It mirrors on the screen there. And, one nice things about your castle is they have a ton of resources and also a ton of data. So if you guys want to do a deeper dive into a lot more of the aspects we're not talking about here, reach out to Jeremy. They have way more than one slide on here. So here is the reality. Commissions will get compressed. It's going to happen, and there's estimates for how much it will. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know the amount, but I have made my money over the years by just looking at trends. And the trends say there's a high probability that commissions will get compressed. Now, there's no reason to debate the point. There's no reason to bury your head in the sand. And I'm not the person to go out there and tell you how to change your contract, how to change your buyer agents. Go to Eric Romero's classes that he teaches for that, and he'll give you the details. I'm about bringing in business and closing business. I'm on the marketing and sales side. And one of the things here, this is actually a last minute thing we added here, and I didn't even know about this, Jeremy, until yesterday. What the heck is this?
You know, a friend of mine, Dan Fortune, approached me a couple months ago and he said, I've done a ton of research and I found a way where I can be a dual license agent. He can get his lending license and he can also be a realtor and handle both sides of the deal, right? And then take some basis points and add additional revenue stream, right? No, it's not going to be for everybody, but it also lets them be a part of the transaction. I think too many times vendors and third parties are trying to build their business on the back of real estate agents. Right. I remember one time I had a guy, I bought a drink and I was at a happy hour and this lender comes over and he goes, no, I got to get out of here. He goes, I'll take care of that drink. And they go, no, 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 the fuck you won't, right? And he goes, well, why not? I go, because you're gonna think buying me a $12 cocktail means I owe you something, right? Like agents work their ass off prospecting, building a business. And I don't know, sometimes vendors just think, hey, look, I'm gonna buy you a cocktail, or here's a $5 Starbucks card. The next thing you know, you owe me thousands of dollars in commission off clients. So it's just an additional way to bring in revenue and also be a part of the transaction.
Yeah.
So that's something that is rolling out. I think Dan and his crew have about 100 agents right now that have dual license.
Yeah, I would definitely say now again, this is going to be, supplemental to the deals, but definitely sidecars to it. So reach out to Jeremy for the details on there, or drop a note in there, and Jeremy or probably one of his team members will follow up on there. Actually, that might be the easiest. Just drop a note in the chat if you're really interested in here, or email Jeremy directly and just say, hey, interested in the dual license agent info, and Jeremy or his team will reach out.
Yeah, I mean, commissions have always been under attack, right? Whether it was attorneys back in the day saying you don't need an agent, I can do it for you, whether it was iBuyers or Zillow coming in, whether it's, all these different things. The truth is, there's going to be a segment that's always going to need an agent. It's just who's going to go out and get that business.
Yeah. And I mean, the nice thing here is I've seen some headlines recently about real estate agents going the way of travel agents. I don't buy that. I mean, Expedia or Orbitz or Southwest.com is not going to take my job or anyone's job on here, but commissions will get compressed. So it's not going to go to zero, but it's going to go down some.
Well, yeah, but there's always going to be a segment of people who will happily pay. My ex-wife and I were in a home one time with a really good friend of mine, our friend Charles Roberts. And at the time, this was a listing by Trey Laura, and they had said, we're going to pay the listing agent 1%. And he said that to us in the home. Immediately, my ex-wife, who's a true consumer, said, then we don't want this house. We want you to get paid for your time, right? Because we had a relationship and he earned it, right? That's the most important thing. So we're going to talk a lot about that today.
Yeah. And I see some comments in here. It looks like I screwed up the poll where only one person can select the new agent. We have 38% emerging, 38% scaling, 24% master. So I'm assuming if you throw the new agent in there, will probably be, a third, a quarter. How about those math skills there, huh? So it looks like we're pretty evenly distributed on there, which is really cool to see. And what we are talking about here will apply no matter which category you're in when it comes to, building out what you need to do to change this market. So one thing that, I'm 42 next month, and I've been through, one market cycle change in real estate. I've been through another market cycle in my previous business, non-real estate, and I was younger then. And when I was in my 20s, went through my first cycle, I definitely had a little bit more victim mindset, a little more complaining, a little bit like, oh, this isn't fair, this isn't it. And I learned from that because, I got older, I learned. I like making money. So I was like, okay. I eventually got myself at the pity party and said, okay, what can I do here? So understand that no matter what, anytime there's change, I try not to view change as good or bad. There will be winners and there will be losers. And you can complain about it, which I think is horrible. You either push through and pivot and go with the change, or don't complain, quit. Like, don't just sit there and complain and keep doing the same thing. You're going to be in the purgatory. That is the worst thing in the world, in my opinion. If you're going to complain, just quit. That would be my 2 cents. Probably not what Jeremy wants to hear.
True.
But that's also like, hey, if this isn't fit for me, or I don't like this, I have to, hey, here's a change. How can I adapt this market? And sometimes, most of the time you can, and sometimes it's not the right fit. That's fine.
Yeah, I get paid a lot like realtors, right? Commission. Right. If there's no closings, there's no commission. And I got my team together when all this started, and I said, look, I'm not interested in losing money. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not interested. I got a shitload of alimony I have to pay. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I got my team together, and I'm like, if the market's going to be down 30%, we're going to work 30% harder. And that means 30% more calls, 30% more meetings, 30% more touches, right? And that's just what we're going to do. And if you can't handle that, get out. Right. Now, was it a hard year? Yeah. But you know what didn't hit? My income.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's hard. Losing money is not something I'm interested in.
Exactly. All right. So the mindset here, this is something that I talk about a lot. Now I have a couple young kids, and, I'm a very big believer in mindset. And the biggest word to emphasize on here is how. Don't go in that victim mindset. Don't complain. But the winners, the top producers, they say, they do not say, I can't do this. They say, how can I do this? And so that's one of the biggest things I have trained my brain over the last 20 years. And probably one of the biggest top 3 things I kind of coach my girls on, my little girls on, is like, hey, we can't a 4-letter word in my house. Something can be hard. You can fail at it. Say, I need help, or say, how can I do this? So going back to here, again, there will be winners. So say, how can I be a winner in this market? How? That is the biggest thing on there. So I would encourage everyone out there to really check how your mind, what your mindset is saying to yourself, because it's easy to fall in the trap. I still do it. I'll go down the can't route or the bad route. I'm like, oh, nope, 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 Lopez, change it.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. Right? I mean, it is. It's all bullshit, right? Like, you're either going to do it or you're not. Like, we were at our company meeting a couple months ago, and there's 300-400 people in the room, and Rick Davidson, who's an incredible leader, got up and said, who had their best year ever, right? And there, a majority of people stood up. What separated them from everybody else? They probably just didn't know any better. It's like I used to hire salespeople, and their first week sometimes was always better than their third week, right? Because their third week they were overthink. The first week, they were just excited to have a job.
Ignorance on fire is good sometimes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So I want to bring into like really get the main topic here, because, commissions will get compressed. Commissions are going to change here. And I think this is a fundamental business concept everyone should know. And when we're seeing commissions go down, really come back and focus on here. You can either focus on providing the most value or the lowest price. Do you want to focus on value or price? Now, in my mind, price is Walmart. Hey, they're going to be the lowest price. Now, is Walmart the greatest shopping experience? No. Does Walmart put other small businesses out of business? Oh, tremendous amount. But they have the lowest price. How many people, how many businesses can compete with Walmart out there? Not many can. However, there's a certain segment of the market, all they care about is price. And I generally don't want to focus on those consumers.
Yeah, a few years ago, there was this event called Realtor Rally. It used to happen. It was a big trade show, and they would do classes and whatnot. And I remember there was a booth set up for a place at the time called Cherry Creek Properties. They were a flat rate brokerage. They ended up becoming bought out by HomeSmart, but their big sign said Cherry Creek Properties, $299 a transaction. It didn't talk about training or support, just $299 a transaction, 100%. Now, right next to them was a company called Brokers Guild, and they had the best marketing strategy ever. They said $298 a transaction. Like a fucking dollar less is going to motivate you to go there, right? Yeah. But there's a certain segment of agents that's the right place for them.
Yeah.
Right? There's a certain, and that's why their average GCI is below the poverty line, right? Like, like for their agents, right? Like, you get what you pay for in this industry. I'm not interested in being the cheapest.
Yeah.
And I hope nobody on this webinar is. If you're the 1% realtor or the flat rate realtor, there's a place for you in the market. And good luck.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're gonna have to do a lot of deals to make $100,000.
And that Brokers Guild versus Cherry Creek was a great example, because focusing on price, it is a race to the bottom. And there's usually one giant winner, like a Walmart style, where they do so much volume, they can live off of a fraction of a margin, and that's what they do. And you can do it that way, but it's really hard.
Well, it bring a great example, Chris, right? Like, where's Kmart? They're gone.
I haven't heard that name in years.
Yeah, it's only Walmart left, right? Even Target had to pivot, right? They couldn't compete. They had to pivot to a little bit more upscale.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
Then you got Nordstrom's on the other end, where someone will pay a premium to go in and have that level of service.
So think about this here, towards your consumers, towards your clients out there, focus on the value you're bringing on there, and not so much on the price, because, hey, there's going to be whatever percent of people, they only focus on price. Cool. You're not going to convince them otherwise.
I mean, the consumer will pay a premium to work with an expert.
Absolutely.
You look at, what's the Berkshire Hathaway guy's name?
Warren Buffett?
Yeah, you look at Warren Buffett, right? He lives up in Omaha, the Oracle of Omaha, right? He drives his Ford Explorer, and he auctions off that lunch every year. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. For hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars people pay to just have lunch with this guy. He's an expert. Right. So imagine that in your sphere.
Yeah. And that's what we're going to do, is you really want to make sure that you're focusing on value, not price, because the value people, you win more, you have more margins, and you generally have a better customer base, which means a more enjoyable business. All right. So this gets into, I think, the biggest thing every single real estate professional needs to focus on, which is you show your value by building your brand, your personal brand. And your personal brand is, what do people associate with your name? I think of Okay, you think of, let's go through your name on here. Heidi Windling. What do you think when you think of Heidi?
A Windling Group.
Yeah.
I
Luxury.
think luxury, exceptional service, like a very classy look.
Yeah.
Just a market leader, a market expert.
Yeah. So there, boom. Heidi, that's name. I looked at names and I recognized her, and that's what popped in my mind was luxury. Boom. And you do that. So that is what other people associate with you. And that is how you're going to win in this market. And no matter what happens with commissions, no matter what happens with companies, whatever, it's going to be focusing on your brand and what people associate with you.
Yeah, and it's a shift too, right? Like I hate it when I meet agents and I go, "What do you do?" They go, "I'm in real estate." I go, "Oh, no shit, me too." Right? Like, "Who are you with?" And they go, "I work for Keller Williams.
Yeah.
I work for HomeSmart." No, you don't. Right? You own your own business.
So what I do, when I sometimes I go out to like kids' birthday parties, and sometimes I don't feel like I don't want to be social sometimes, and like when I want to go out there and network, I'll say, hey, what do you? Hey, I help people invest in real estate, and sometimes I'll just be like, oh, I'm a real estate agent, and when I just am a real estate agent, that's not me showing my value, my brand. I will say that to stop the conversation
For sure.
because people are like, I don't. Okay, you're a realtor, cool.
Well,
Like,
a lot
that's
of
not
times
brand.
you phrase it like that, it brings up a negative connotation too, right? But that's a great elevator pitch. The other one.
Yeah, well, it works and it's simple. Oh,
Yeah,
I help people invest in real estate.
we were just
Okay.
at the DMAR Awards the other day, and picking up some hardware for some of our teams, and for the brokerage, and it was really funny to me. Based on their criteria, we were like the second largest real estate brokerage, and I guarantee you, half the people there celebrating didn't know who the hell we were. Right? That's by design.
Yeah.
Right? I believe in the personal brand. I think people are going to work with you because of the agent relationship, and if we can expand that, the better it works. Right? You're a prime example.
Well, that's one of the reasons I had a six-part criteria. That was one of the reasons I joined your castle 7 or 8 years ago. So and a lot of times people think of brand, oh, a logo, your photo, your yard sign. That means squat. Don't worry about that. It means what do people think about you when they hear your name, like we talked about Heidi, or like we talked about Kristen Anderson. So talk about Kristen, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, this is an ultimate success story. Kristen's a nurse, and just reached the top of where she could be as a nurse. Right, income's capped out. She has a young son, great husband, very charismatic, very outgoing, very likable. But she didn't have the biggest fear at all. Right, and she's working nurses hours, 312s, a couple days off. Right, it's a big strain, and she just didn't want to go back to that. And so she really built her personal brand is Kristen Anderson.
Yeah.
She doesn't have anything fancy. She doesn't have, a big giant logo, but she realized if I can just be in front of as many people as I can and show the passion and love I have for this industry, it will be infectious. And it's absolutely worked.
Like here, we're on her Instagram page right now. So this second photo is actually her at the Your Castle Awards 1 or 2 weeks ago, where she won the personal brand award.
She won about 3 different awards. Right? And I mean, she's only in year like 3 selling this business, right? And a couple $100,000 in GCI. But she had to get really creative on how she can get in front of people. She realized if I can get in front of as many people as possible, I'll do it. She created a Facebook group. This is brilliant, called Hey Denver, you can sit with us. And really it's, hey, you don't have a lot of friends in Colorado? We get it. Right. It reminds me of my kids' school. They have the buddy bench. Right. And if they ever see a kid sitting on this buddy bench, they know it's somebody hurting or they're lonely. Right. That's real life. It didn't stop out of school.
No.
There's a lot of people out there that don't have 200-300 person networks. And so she created this group already at 588 members.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you guys want to, her handle here, we can drop this in the chat here. If you guys want to follow Kristen, I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, Denver's Homegirl on Instagram.
She's also fearless, right? Like she was doing an open house the other day, no one came. And most people would say, man, what a fail. I did this open house and no one came. She took this as an opportunity to produce like 6 reels, right? Like a couple YouTube shorts, right? About being lonely at an open house.
That's the winner's mindset.
100%. It's like, I'm here. Let's put in some work, right?
All right. So, and this kind of goes back to, personal brand. There is a lot of negative connotation around it and a lot of like a fake it till you make it. That is not a personal brand. You truly need to become an expert in a niche. So a subject matter expert, an SME, subject matter expert, and you want to be authentic. You want to be passionate. Don't do something you hate. Like I have focused on the investing side, which I truly enjoy. I became an agent because I wanted to get into real estate investing. I wake up early every day and I'm excited about what I do because I'm like, this is what I work on. So I'm excited about.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine, and the don't do something you hate makes a lot of sense to me, right? I've got a friend of mine that got his license. He's from a very affluent family out in small town Texas. At their wedding, they had 300-400 people there. They're very well connected, very likable. You know, they have a history in that city. And I called him one day, just got in the business, and I said, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he goes, "It's too damn hot to do this." I go, "Too damn hot to do what?" I mean, this is small town Texas. He goes, "I'm just out door knocking." And I go, "Why?" And he goes, "Because my mentor told me to door knock. That's how I'm going to build a business in real estate."
Oh,
The guy has a 300-400 person sphere and he's door knocking and hating life. Why do it?
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense.
So I want to go through and actually kind of go through the history of my brand thesis here, my personal brand, because I got my license like end of 27 or sometime in 2017. And when I came out here, everyone said, "Oh, what you want to do, you can't do." Which, number one, I love it when people say can't do something because I will show you up. But I'm gonna go through the history and actually go through some other success stories at your castle to show how powerful it is, where it's helped me build an amazing real estate agent business and also led to other opportunities out there. Now, when I came out here looking at becoming a real estate agent, I really, after about a year in the business, I bucketed into three main areas that I felt like were the three main drivers or the three main legs to a stool for building a business. There's the sales. And this is out there, you know, showing people properties, writing the contract, negotiating, going to the closing table, all the stuff that actually like what you have to do to get to the closing table once someone says, "Hey, I'm ready to buy, I'm ready to sell." That is the sales, all the contract stuff. Attention. Now, a lot of people call this lead flow. I don't like that because especially now in our day and age of social media, it's all about having the attention. Who are you watching on your social media feed? Who are you watching on YouTube? Who you're listening to on the podcast? Who do you talk to? Whose attention do you have out there? I mean, this has been a shift going on since what 2010-ish timeframe, and it's getting more and more important. And the third part is scale. And this is like the systems, this is hiring people, this is your technology, this is having everything in place so you can go out there and scale your business. Whether you want to be a high producing agent, you want to build a team and have a great lifestyle, how do you scale your business? Guess where I put my most focus on? You know which one it is, Jeremy?
Sales.
Attention.
I'm a sales guy.
Yeah, you're a sales guy. How anyone want to guess out there how many transactions I've done myself? Me personally as an agent. You can't go yet, Jeremy.
All right.
You may know this. Jeremy will give you a prize if someone can guess that right. How many sales I've actually closed myself personally? I'll come back and answer that in a minute. Because my brand is around real estate investing. Like I said, I can go through all the things, but my passion, my interest, all my brand was around real estate investing. And I have totally focused on attention. If I have the attention of the audience, the attention of the people, I can funnel to sales, I can funnel to scale. And that's been my absolute thesis. All right, I see some zeros. I see quite a few number above tens. The answer is one.
One deal.
I did one transaction myself and realized, holy smokes, this is not my specialty. I'm really good at getting attention. And I'm going to go through pretty quickly here. And I want to use this to help like highlight a couple things you guys can do, but also motivate you for how powerful the attention is. And you get the attention by building the personal brand and getting your brand out there to people and keeping their attention consistently in front of you. So in 2017, I actually didn't even live in Colorado. But I contacted Jeremy Lambert, say, I'm gonna move out here in a year. I'm gonna focus on real estate investing. I'm gonna build my business online. And Jeremy was, what was your reaction?
I thought you were full of shit, to be honest with you.
Everyone
I
did.
literally called a friend of mine and I said, "Look, I want you to meet this guy, Chris. It's a 99% chance he's full of shit and it's never going to happen." He goes, "Then why should I meet with him?" I go, "Because it's that 1% chance that I think he can do it." And
Yeah.
he did, man. You did. It's unbelievable.
So I came out here with, zero network, zero knowledge on being an agent, zero knowledge of real estate investing, zero knowledge on the market. I came out here with a zero, but I came out here, you know, hungry and also with a plan. And so I had a whole checklist here for what I wanted to do in joining a brokerage. And I talked to 4 brokerages, obviously Jeremy and your castle one. And one of them on here, you can see that second sub bullet point, opportunity for my brand and identity. That was actually my biggest thing out there was I want to make sure I build my brand. Like there's some great companies. Remember one of them I talked to, I think was 8Z, great real estate company, but you had to go to their brand and that did not fit with me. Now, I was not worried about commissions. I wasn't worried about my splits because I don't care if I'm keeping 50% or 100% because what's 50% of zero, Jeremy?
Zero.
Yeah, so I was like, well, once I produce some scoreboard, then come back and negotiate. I really focused on the long-term thing. So that first year, while I lived out of state, I did 1.9 million in sales volume across 9 deals. Now in 2018, this is when I did my one deal myself. I realized, okay, I'm really understanding the difference of sales and attention when it comes to the area of real estate. And that's where I came up with that sales, attention, scale, three pillars I talked about. And I decided to completely focus on being the attention or the rainmaker, as people call it in a real estate. So that year, and this is the year I moved out in April 2018, I did 4.2 million in sales and 13 deals. So growing, which is what I cared about. And then, that year was tough. Our friend Charles Roberts, who is my mentor and also my partner in a lot of this stuff, he had unfortunately a brain aneurysm. 2019 was a tough year, but I was able to keep growing and was able to recruit. So I kept grinding. I kept going out there, doing my content. I kept going out there, building my brand. I kept going out there and doing what I had to do to build the attention. And I wasn't always worried about, hey, doing a deal today. I always had a 10-year plan in my mind. I'm still I think I'm in my 7th year of the plan on here. So I'm still in my 7th year of my 10-year plan. So hired some people, got a dedicated agent named Preston, had 2 hires to go out there and help us start growing. Did 17 million sales volume, starting to get pretty good there, which is about 40 deals. Then 2020, we all know what happened there, COVID. So had some bandwidth to figure things out while you guys were watching Tiger King. I was figuring out how to scale my business. And I said, hey, it's time to grow. I made 2 phone calls. The first one's actually Jeremy Lambert here. I said, hey, Jeremy, it's time. I want to go out there and start a team. Made my second call, which was my first agent I recruited, Lauren, onto the team, who's a rock star agent and was the top producer for years at Your Castle. By August, the team was in place. October that year, we officially launched the team. I think we had 6 agents on the team that year, and we did about 42 million sales volume and 100 deals. And that was a partial year for us. Now, again, how I was able to go out there and recruit the team and do the leads flow? I had the attention. I had my personal brand. And the interesting thing about building your personal brand out there is it's very hard to track the results. And I usually can't tell, hey, this social media post or this video led to this result. Now, 100 of those leads to the result. Building your personal brand is like compounding interest. If you've ever seen like those growths of, compound interest for like your stock market return or your 401k, hey, when you get into like years 20, year 30, year 40, the compound interest starts doing that, like that vertical growth. That's how your personal brand is. So 2020, we cranked. There we go. And then guess what happened? I had my personal brand. I started having other opportunities come out of the woodworks. And one of them was, hey, I actually been listening to your podcast for a while, my Denver Investment Real Estate podcast. And no, you guys don't need a podcast to go out there and do this. I had a podcast, had another great agent in Colorado Springs saying, hey, Chris, I like what you do. I agree with your philosophy. I like how you approach things. I like your ethics, I like your personality. We align on so many things. One thing we don't, though, I live and I invest in Colorado Springs. You live and you invest in Denver. What are your thoughts about expanding what you do down in Colorado Springs? Yes, please. So we expand down in Colorado Springs, and the end of actually in 2021, we officially launched Colorado Springs. Why? Because I had the brand. And because I had Your Castle, their resources, their infrastructure. One of my other criteria was actually the ability to go out there and build a team. So I built my team, but I was able to, for a couple $100 more a month, expand to Colorado Springs. Why? I piggybacked off the infrastructure that Your Castle had. So my plan was coming in place. I want to build my brand because I can do more deals, I can build a team, and I can geographically expand. And I was able to do that off the infrastructure Your Castle had. So won't go through all these slides here because I don't want to go into too much detail here, but we expanded into there. And what was the result? We launched, and then by the next quarter, We had so many leads. We had so many clients. My agent, Jenny, down there said, Chris, help. And this is actually from her email she sent me. Help. I have double-digit transactions in progress. Like she had 10 or 11 properties under contract at once. So you guys know that's about like, that is, you're redlining there as an agent if you're in the double-digit transaction and you're doing it all yourself, even with the TC. And she said, hey, we need to expand. Great problem to have. My personal brand was able to generate so many leads that we had to go out there and had to recruit another agent to help Jenny with our expansion into Springs. So hired Leah in spring of 2021. I think that year she was rookie of the year, right?
Yeah, and her
Lambert?
her GCI went from literally one deal the year before to over 150,000 in GCI just by 12 months on your team.
Yeah. And they did 40. So in 2021, and Leah joined us March or April that year, and we just launched 6 months before. We did 49 transactions down south and about $22 million in sales volume. Our total sales volume as a team was about 98 million that year and 185 deals.
So you jumped an additional 85 deals in 12 months. 100 to 185.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's freaking incredible.
And the biggest thing there from that year was we added one more agent that year. You know, the team was in full mode in 2021. And it's not like, oh, I added 20 more agents. No, I added one more agent. And I was generating about 65, 70% of the clients and deals because I'm the rainmaker, and that came from my personal brand. So what happened in 2022? Well, rates started creeping up. And so my sales volume that year was 86.8 million and did about 159 deals. So, I mean, you always want to grow bigger, but hey, sometimes you just can't. And so that year's things started slowing down. And also what happened at the same time here, because my personal brand had gotten so big, so much traction, I started having other opportunities come into play.
Mhm.
They were still associated within real estate. A lot of you guys know, beginning of that year, I launched a software company called Property Llama. Had the opportunity to start working with Lon Welsh, who is the founder and absolute brilliant business person at Your Castle, help with some bigger investing deals. And so my personal brand not only helped me go out there and build a multiple seven-figure GCI team, but helped me go launch a ancillary software company and actually go out there and do some bigger investment deals, which is what I wanted to do.
Well, and you went from your own podcast to Bigger Pockets and you know, more of a national scale too. So, you know, it's pretty incredible what you've done.
Well, thank you. And then 2023, total team production was about 61 million, just over 100 deals. But also what happened in 2023 is I actually shut down the team operations. Now, I'm not really talked too much about that publicly. Jeremy obviously was a big, intricate part of it. Guess what? I still have the team. I still do deals. But now, rather than having the team, I have now pivoted to a referral network. Why? Well, a big part of that too was just as my personal brand has grown, I've had more opportunities out there. And I've been meeting with Jeremy, meeting with Lon Welsh, who are key team members of mine when it comes to growing my real estate business. We have gone through business plans, we've gone through ideas, and it made the most sense for me to pivot towards a referral network. And guess what? Your Castle, again, I was able to do all this within Your Castle seamlessly, and they helped me go out there and grow my business. But because I had such a strong personal brand, I could do that and can still continue to go out there doing deals. So that was, you know, over $1 million in GCI that year, in a rough year, and actually shut down the team operations. Now, I'm sharing all that because I want to help you guys understand the power of building your personal brand. Now, obviously, I'm obsessive, and I went very big and had podcasts, had YouTube videos, which, hey, there's two mindsets. Some people say, hey, I can't do that. Other people say, hey, how can I do that? Well, I want to focus about the people saying, hey, how can I? You don't have to go out there and go big like I did. You may say, hey, I want to go out there and have this attention and build a great team and focus on my personal brand, and they can still do it. Before we go to the next slide, someone else that pops in my mind, Chelsea Steen.
Mm-hmm.
She has a great personal brand in her niche. And what is she doing this year?
She's traveling the world.
Like, yeah, I think for like 12 months.
Right now, she's doing the Machu Picchu or something like that, you know? So she'll be gone literally for 12 months. And she was still, I think, in our top 10 last month.
But she had an award at the ceremony last
100%,
week.
Yeah.
And so same thing. Why? Well, she had such a great personal brand she was unable to scale her business to meet one of her life goals, which is a 12-month trip, which is pretty badass.
Hell yeah. I mean, and she put a team in place where she has the right people they share the same values. They share the same brand. So even though she's not there, the Steen team is still represented on every document, every listing presentation, every new home buyer class, and she's comfortable enough to let go and leave. Right? I think that's the biggest thing is the control issues. She's in places this year that aren't going to have internet. And she has to trust those people around her.
Yeah.
And it took an action plan to go out and build it up, find the right people, plan, execute.
And you helped her out with that.
Hell
Your
yeah.
castle helped her out.
Because I believe in her.
Yeah.
Right? Like she's a good human.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I want to focus on here is also just, we talk about personal brand a lot. Make sure you're with a brokerage that allows you to do it. And I shared my scale story. I shared my journey of scaling my business, pivoting my business a few times, and I've been able to do it because of my personal brand and also your castle. For me, they have the right balance where, hey, they do their job, I do my job, we both make money. So another success story here, and she's on the webinar with us, Heidi Wendling, who we just talked about. What's her journey, Jeremy?
You know, I'm a big fan of Heidi personally and professionally. She's a true success story in this industry. I mean, Heidi came in my office, years ago with a new baby and was just trying to figure it out. I think she was over at Keller, and over the years has really developed an incredible business. But it took a lot of work, change, and pivoting. Like she didn't start her team till a couple of years ago, and the main thing was she started to get too busy. Right. And she leveraged bringing on teammates to help her in her business, but also to enhance the brand. Right. That Wendling Group sign, no matter who puts it out, still represents her.
Yep.
Right. So she did a great job of really digging into luxury, defining where I want to be. I brought this up on a webinar a couple of years ago. I met a kid once and I go, "What are your goals?" And he goes, "I want to sell $1 million houses." And I go, "Well, how many $1 million houses have you been in the last 12 months?" And he goes, "No." I'm like, "Well, it ain't gonna fucking work." Right. Like, Heidi did a great job of establishing, okay, I want to move into this sector. I need to be around the right people at the right price points with the right income. Right. Like she still does open houses. Right. She does them in $1 million houses now. Right. I think she even did one and picked up an unrepresented buyer. I think it was Lon's house. Right. Like, it was a couple $100,000 in GCI. So she's done a great job, but her brand speaks luxury.
Yeah.
And it's all by design and it's all by planning. But she went out and implemented.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the main thing.
And also, I want to really highlight too, because I mean, over the years, I have people say, "Hey, Chris, you've had success, but I can't do what you do with internet marketing." Hey, that's fine. You don't have to. We shared Kristen's story. We shared Heidi's story. We shared Chelsea's story. Now they're using social media. They're using email lists. They're using CRMs. They're using all the tools out there.
They run it like a business, Chris, right? These are the top 1% agents in the country. I mean, at these production levels, they're the top 1% wage earners in America.
Yeah.
Anything over 400,000 a year puts you in the top 1%, right? Like, and they run this like a business. They run this like a sales organization.
All right, so we'll move into the latter part of the webinar here and really gear this towards an action and workshop. Hopefully we gave you guys some ideas. We gave you some motivational success stories, but now we're going to spend some time in doing some like brainstorming over the internet for how you can actually implement on here. So I love workshopping, which is taking an idea and going out there and starting to implement it for what you can do in your business. So, I'll leave this up here for a second. Here's how I've broken down my business plan: sales, attention, scale. Now, I always encourage people, look at this and figure out, hey, where are your strengths and where are your strengths not? But you want to find the right balance on here, because this is how you go out there and build the right lifestyle business, go out there and meet your goals. Mine, I like the game of growth. I work 50, 60 hours a week still. I grow. I'm in the office most days right around 7 a.m. I just outwork people, but that's my game. You got Chelsea, man, she built that amazing business. She scaled her business right now. So she can take a year off her lifestyle. That is amazing. Now, there's no right or wrong, but we both had the attention. We got the sales components in place and we scaled the business to meet our personal goals. There's no right or wrong. It's just, how do you want to align your business? So I want to ask everyone out there, what is your brand? If people are brave enough, type into the chats or the Q&A, what is your brand? And that should be one sentence. Like I said, mine is, I help people invest in real estate.
I always bring up John Waters in this instance because I think he has nailed this better than anybody I've ever met. If you meet John Waters and you say, "Hey, what do you do?" John's going to say, "I'm a main floor living expert." right? And you think about that and you're like, what the hell is a main floor living expert? That's the point. It's supposed to bring up conversation. And if you ask John that, he would say, I help people transition from 2 stories to 1.
Mm,
And it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And so he spends all his time teaching people that, look, your kids are out of the house. You don't need that second floor,
yeah.
right? Let's go into something smaller. But that's a prime example of he knows his brand, right? And he can articulate it.
Yeah.
Most people can't.
All right. Ooh, I like some of these coming. I'm gonna take the very first one that came in because I like speed. Speed matters. We have Sam Cox. I create community.
I love that. Good job, Sam.
Yeah. And see there, it's simple. It's action. There's a verb in there. Going back to, grammar. There's a verb in there. Another one. I help people build wealth through real estate. Oh, that's from Katie. What's up, Katie? Yes, she does. Another one. At home with Carrie, bringing people home. So you see here, you want to have the brand. And here's the other question here. When people think of your name, is that how they think of you? Is that what they associate?
I mean, that's you'd hope, right? Like, I mean, I think everybody in my life knows what I do. They know how they can help me personally and professionally, right? I mean, I'm very lucky to have great relationships in this business. I was thinking about it last night. I was
You're
having
not
drinks.
lucky. You've worked your ass off.
Well, yeah, I've got a girl. Her name's Tabitha. She's over at Compass. One of my favorite success stories in this business. She refers me 3 to 4 deals, our agents a year, right? And that's just because we have a good relationship. Provide value. She knows my brand. She knows what I'm interested in. And I want to tell you, Carrie Ward, this is a pretty good success story. Carrie's second year had a 428% increase in her business.
Ooh,
right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was our rookie of the year. So, when other people are struggling, Carrie didn't know any better. She just went out and worked her ass off.
Yeah. All right. So we can't go through all these, but okay, you have your brand on here. Now, if you're not typing in there, if that means you don't know what your brand is, that's a problem. So let's go out there and fix that. So I'll come back to this last second. There's 2 main options I look at this because I've helped a lot of agents go out there and how grow their business and find the right way. And I always look at this as 2 main ways. You can go out there and create your own brand to take control of your leads, like I've done, like Chelsea, like Kristen, like Heidi, like Carrie, like these people we've talked about in the webinar. They have their brand and they control their destiny. Another one to highlight here is Jackie White. Now, I think of Jackie, I think of Foothills. Foothills and helping seniors downsize.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I think of Jackie.
She's done an amazing job, even to her peers, of really positioning herself on, I'm the Foothills expert, right? And it's a natural thing. I'll see it on our Facebook page. We have a private Facebook page, and someone will go, hey, I need to refer a deal out in Conifer. And immediately 6, 7, 8 people will comment, Jackie White, Jackie White, yeah. Jackie White. That was free.
Yeah.
That just took work.
And she was number 2 agent last year in the company.
Yeah, she rotates 1 and 2, her and Amy Nakos every year. So
Amy, when you say the word Amy Nakos or the name Amy Nakos,
Summit County.
Exactly.
Just, and she's a freaking pro.
Yeah.
But she's built that brand, but she's done it by building relationships with other people who can promote for her.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we talk about the personal brand on there and they have gone big time.
One more thing. You should be doing this within your sphere. Right? The same way Amy did it with her real estate peers, you can do this in your sphere.
Yeah.
It should be everybody in your sphere. If they hear the word real estate, they go, oh shit, you got to call my friend Chris. Like, he's amazing. And they're going to sell for you, right? You got to build that up. And that just takes making the calls and building the relationships. It's not that hard.
But it takes time and it takes persistent action. All right. So I'll actually show something cool about Jackie in a minute here. The second option here, because sometimes you might be in a point where, hey, building a personal brand is daunting, you can't do it. Then find a top producer and become essential to their business. Now, I can share my story where, hey, I think I had 8 or 9 agents total at the peak of Envision Advisors before I made my last pivot last year. And guess what? They all were great agents, but they didn't have the ability, they didn't have the ability to go out there and build a personal brand. So it was a great partnership. Chelsea Steen, she has, I think, 4 team members.
Mm-hmm.
She has 4 team members. Well, off the Steen brand, they're getting lead flow. They're getting mentorship. Amy Nakos, who's a top producer, she's starting to expand into the team now because she's in a point where she's pivoting from business well. So there are opportunities out there, but regardless, you have to go out there and either build your brand or, in my opinion, be associated with someone's brand that you can piggyback off of. And I say, like, ride their coattails. I don't mean in a bad way. I mean in a positive way, to go out there and ride their coattails. And sometimes you do it for a while, then you go build your personal brand. Now, either way on here, if you want to go out there and build your personal brand, that is really hard to do, but you can absolutely do it. If you want to go out there and find a top producer, I would really recommend talking to Jeremy, because Jeremy, in my opinion, is like one of the best connectors I've ever met in my life. He's helped me build my team. I've referred him agents to build other teams. I've seen him help so many other agents out there scale their team, like the Amy's, like the Chelsea's, like the Impact Group, all these other people out there. And if you want to build your personal brand, I would talk to Jeremy as well, because they run mastermind groups. They have other resources to go out there to plug you into.
Yeah, and I've got one hell of a chief marketing officer that can help you out too.
Yes.
Right. So let's
Well, that was a big hire you guys made in
100%.
January.
Big investment. In a time that most companies are laying off employees, we went out and found talent and invested.
You invested into it.
Because, we'll get a return. And if we don't, sorry, Jeff.
Just give his phone number out. In
Yeah,
yeah. Right? Everyone text Jeff at 2 a.m.
Reach Jeff at 303.
Jeff is nodding his head. All right. So going to option 2 here, find a top producer and become essential to their business. Talk about Bobby here.
Yeah, Bobby's a great guy, man. I mean, very, very likable, seasoned investor, has done a lot in the investing community.
He's a creative dude as well.
Yeah,
I love him.
And, just a good overall guy. Gets his license and kind of realizes, like, man, I don't have the ramp up period and the sphere to start off right away. So he had a mutual friend named Julie, who is an amazing mom, had a baby, and just couldn't be in the field. And had no desire to be in the field. She wanted to be home with her kid, but she also needed revenue. And she has a sphere that's unbelievable. So where Bobby came in is like, look, you do the contracts. I'll help you with them. You stay anything inside. I'll take everything in the field, and we'll split it 50-50. And they have absolutely crushed.
Yeah, because I mean, I know she got some award.
Both of them did.
Oh, both. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them did. And just said, like, but they had to rebrand it, right?
Yeah.
Because Julie's people didn't know Bobby. Right. So then they had to brand themselves as a team where it's more of like, hey, you're going to meet with my business partner. So then it makes sense. The handoff makes sense. It's a win for Julie. She gets to be home with her kiddo. She makes a high income. She lead generates. It's a win for Bobby.
Yeah.
He's in the field, and together they have made a lot of people a lot of money.
So if anyone out there, I know we still got close to 100 people in the webinar.
One more thing, I apologize, to keep up when we're talking about this find a top producer, be aware too that a lot of agents don't have an exit plan. Right. There's a lot of agents that, or maybe, a married, female whose kids just left the house. They've built up an insane business. They're maybe in their 60s. They want to travel more. They want to get out, and they don't know what to do with their business. So either they retire and just turn it off, or maybe, just maybe, you start building relationships with these agents, become their business partner, never let them retire. Slowly ease yourself into their sphere, and that business can go on forever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity if you look at it.
So if you guys in the comments or the chat box, say if you're option 1, option 2, because Jeremy and his team will go out there and read the notes afterwards. They'll get you connected. They'll talk with you. They'll sit down and have a chat, hopefully get you connected with someone. But guess who knows these agents that want to retire, these agents that want to grow their business, these agents that they're in that scale up stage where they are like kind of overwhelmed with leads and they're trying to scale their business up next level. Guess who knows that? Jeremy has his finger on the pulse.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much opportunity if you're willing to go work for it.
And you can share that in the Q&A or chat box, whatever makes you comfortable in terms of sharing that information. All right, so let's go through a few more slides here. And as you go out there and build your personal brand, I talked about being authentic, doing something you're passionate about, doing something that you don't hate, being a subject matter expert. Now, that is the keys in my mind to going out there and being a personal brand. Like, the thought of doing luxury, for me, that just sounds horrible. I just don't care. I drive a 10-year-old car. I don't care about that stuff. And it's not right or wrong. It's just not how I'm programmed. I like the game of investing. And I take other people, I want to do this, buy this, $2 million home. Like, cool, go talk to a Heidi or go talk to someone like that, because I don't know what to do. I'm going to show you stuff, but you're going to yell at me. But as you do this, the way you're going to build your personal brand is, yes, you're going to make your phone calls. You're going to meet people. But holy smokes, you have to get into content creation. Social media, email is great ways to go out there. And so this is the a 3-letter phrase that has made me millions of dollars over my career before real estate and in real estate. Document, don't create. I know some people see my webinars and podcasts here. What do? I buy a property for myself and I go through the details. I sell a property. I go through details. I try to figure out, oh, do I need to put this property in LLC or not? Oh, let me go find some people and interview them. And I document what I'm doing here. I sit there, hey, I got this creative financing on here. Oh, I made a big mistake here. Let me share it. When you go out there and build your personal brand and you want to go out there and create content around it, it could be a social media post with a caption, could be a 10-minute video, could be whatever you want. Document what you're doing, don't create. And when you have this click with you, this is such like a game-changing fundamental shift. Because I've seen so many people, and myself included, it's like 15, actually more years ago than that, said, oh, I gotta create content. What should I create? What should I do? I don't know what to create on here. And I would spend so much time, so much energy when I'd say, oh, well, I did this, or my client did this, and I can document what I'm doing. I can document what a client's doing. I mean, that is almost all my content out there that I create, and how I go out there and build my personal brand and go out there and create value is I go out there and I document what I'm running. I'm documenting what I'm doing. Were you about to say something, Jeremy?
No,
Oh,
it's true.
yeah.
Right. Like, and don't be shy. It doesn't have to be perfect.
No, and I'm looking behind myself on the bookshelf, and I don't have this book right behind me, but there is Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V. Now, some of you guys have heard him, some of you haven't. If you heard 3 of his podcasts, you know he's about personal branding. You know he's a Jersey boy, and you know he's all about document, don't create. That is a phenomenal podcast his to go listen to, because he's just about document, don't create. And that guy is, I mean, on his way to become a billionaire because he has documented what he is doing. And that is his whole thesis. That was my thesis for all the growth I went to, was document what I'm doing. Don't go out there and create the content. And so let's go back and talk about Jackie White here in the foothills. And so I know there's 2 main things that Jackie focuses on. Hey, you go in the foothills, going from Denver to the foothills, which is a big part of her business. It's a different lifestyle. And there's also a lot more concern about wildfires out there. Well, guess what? She's on couple of the boards, the Firefighter Association out there. I forget the specifics, but she's very plugged into there.
Yeah, she's actually working on new legislation. Like, that's how dialed in she is. She's working with a local government to change legislation on, what they have to do when they buy and sell homes out there to protect the fires. And so, I mean, she's very, very active.
Yeah. And then she goes out there and documents it. So she publishes articles, she creates videos, she creates presentations. She has presentations talking about, hey, you're moving from Denver to the foothills. And guess what? She lives in the foothills as well. Like, this is stuff she cares about, so her house doesn't burn down. And she documents what she is doing, and it gains her a lot of business.
Yeah, I mean, she's an expert.
Yeah.
Right? Her brand is, I'm the expert out here. If you want your house sold, if you want to buy out here, you want the best price, she attracts business just by living her life and promoting it. It's pretty incredible.
The other side of her business is a lot of these people, hey, they go out there and buy for, lifestyle. They raise their family. Well, as they become empty nesters, they get older. Well, now they have a big house, don't want to deal with the foothills, don't want to deal with the snow. She does a lot on helping people to downsize. When I say document, don't create, Jackie and I think it was last year in a webinar we were doing, we were going through stuff about really dissecting her business success. And I was like, Jackie, and just the way she rattled off, what people know. I was like, Jackie, you should just write a book on there. Well, guess what? We're on Amazon.com. I typed in Jackie. Her book came up here, and she published a book just 2 months ago, actually like 2 months ago to the day, The Upsides to Downsizing, Housing Options for Easy Living. Now, how do you write a book? It's actually pretty easy nowadays.
Right.
You go out there and self-publish a book. I self-published about 10 books. I've got some behind Jeremy Lambert there. That becomes your business card. That becomes your subject matter expert. So she took all this knowledge she had, and she writes about what you need to know for downsizing your home. And this is helping her get a lot of business. And so this is her documenting what she's doing, not creating. She knows all this knowledge. She had all this presentation, and she took it, hired a ghostwriter, helped her write some of it, and then she finessed it. And now she has a book that she hands out. And when people see your published author, they're like, oh my gosh, you're amazing. Because people still hold authors on pedestals.
Yeah, I mean, you've written how many books? 9?
I think 10 now.
I think Lon's written 10, 11,
Yeah.
something like that. And in fact, we'll talk about the Thrive book, but it's not that difficult. And Chris gave Jackie the idea in a podcast we were doing, and literally she just ran with it.
Yeah, she actually took action. I was
You
like,
know,
thank
I
you.
remember getting the link. She goes, "Hey, I just finished. How do you like the album? I mean, the art, all those things." But the point is, she did it, and this is a business card, and this is a handout. She's not trying to sell books. She's utilizing this to be a marketing piece, but
Yeah.
the overall brand is fantastic.
And so I'll give you some ideas here. I just so I publish a book every single year. In 2019, I published the 2019 Guide to Denver Real Estate Investing Strategies. There's one before that. That's not what the book is. 2020 Guide to Denver Real Estate Investing Strategies. 2021 Guide to Colorado Real Estate Investing Strategies, because we expanded Colorado Springs that year. I know where my 2022 copy is right now. The 2023 guide right now. Jeremy, guess what I'm working on right now?
I would say the 2024 guide.
You have a good crystal ball. Exactly. So like now this, anyone do out there, go to YouTube University and type in how to self-publish a book, spend 5 hours and you will learn how to self-publish a book and pick it around a topic that you're good at. I love investing. I talk about the same because I'm like, hey, what are the trends? How do I need to invest? What do I need to do? Cool. I'm going to do 10% more work and turn into a book.
But that could be anybody on here and what their niche is. It could be Heidi doing how to navigate the luxury market, right? It could be any of these things, right?
Yeah.
It's
Heidi,
just a
there's an
matter.
idea for you.
Yeah, I'll take lunch for free on that one, but no, I mean, there's just tons of opportunity. The problem is, are you going to go do it?
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm trying to give you ideas on here because this is obviously like I think self-publishing a book is one of the best things in the world you can do for your brand and building a business. I give out hundreds of copies a year of these books for free. I'm not getting rich off my book royalties. My commissions make a lot more money than the book royalties of 50 cents.
Well, what a good touch, right? Hey, I got an update. I want to drop this off. Let's meet for coffee.
Yeah. And guess what? How many business cards do you throw away?
I don't even carry them anymore.
Yeah. How many flyers? How many trifolds? How many pamphlets? How many postcards?
You throw away a book, you're like a communist.
Yeah, like you don't throw away books; they sit on the shelf for years. So as you go out there and you build your personal brand, I think I'm a big believer in consistency. Now I align a lot of my business and marketing to like how I view fitness and personal, personal health, which is consistency goes a way longer than like binge diets or try and do like a 5-hour workout in the gym. If I can consistently every single week work out a few times, consistently eat well most of the time, you know what? I stay healthy. I keep my muscle mass. I feel good, and that's what I care about. I'm not playing any professional sports this point in my life. So the same thing when it comes to building your personal brand, which you do through creating content and you talking to people, it is consistency. So my challenge to people out there is to create one piece of content a week. Commit to it, and don't worry about the details. Just publish the freaking piece of content.
Remember we met with Chelsea Steen. What was her big thing was consistency. And she was doing new home buyer classes. And she said, I'm going to do whatever it was, one a week and never stop. I don't care if one person shows up. I don't care if 30 show up. I'm going to do it every time.
Yeah.
Same with you. How many podcasts have you done?
We're close to 500.
Really? I mean,
for the Denver one and other ones I've done, I've probably over 1,000 total of my businesses.
I mean, but they continuously happen.
Yeah.
Right. There's no excuses.
You can go back to like, I don't have any more. I have photos somewhere, but like every year for the first number of years in 2017, when I started everything, my main goal was one podcast a week. That was like my main business goal. I a bunch of other ones, but one I have to do no matter what. I published a damn podcast every effing week.
Yeah. And if you're at your castle and you're looking for, even if you just want to do a video update to your clients, if you just picked one of the emails Lon sends out every week, I mean, the other day he sent one on mortgage rates that was brilliant, right? All you have to do literally is pull up the article, open your freaking phone, and just read the highlighted sections. He makes it so easy. Right. Hey, listen, there was an article on this. It says this, 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 this. Do you agree? Let's connect.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. Just do it. You got a studio right here.
Yeah. The other thing I love doing as well is Loom videos, LOOM. Those are quick videos people use to like record their desktop, record their screen. Like, hey, you can go on Jackie and talk about how to look at insurance fire lines or flood lines or fire lines, whatever it is. I go in there and I look at properties and analyze them. How do you go out there and look at luxury properties online? There's so many things you can do here that's so simple where for like no money or for $100 less a month and some subscription fees to like Loom or whatever things you need, you can go out there and publish content easy. You don't need a studio like I have. I didn't have this for the first 3 years or so. I wanted to up my game. I did this. Go out there with your phone, go out there with your laptop, and you can do it all. All right. So again, reminder, be authentic, be passionate, and don't do something you hate. This is actually one of the biggest mistakes I see people do is they focus on something they hate. Oh, well, I can make good commission here. Well, if you don't love it, it's hard to grind for 10 years. And if you can't think about yourself doing this for 10 years, don't bother starting your personal brand. I'm still not past my original 10-year plan. When I sat down with Lambert in December 2016, our first meeting, I came out with a printed one-page business plan. And now while it's changed, I'm in my seventh out of 10 year on that business plan. I am still chugging away. And I'm going to publish 10 damn copies of these books until I get it done, because that's what I do. I have a 10-year plan. I'm committing to it. So I say this because if you can't think of yourself doing this for 10 years, let that be a pause, because that's what it takes to be great. That's what it takes to have success. And that's not going to be 10 years where you make money, but it takes a few years to get your traction. And if you just think, I'm going to hate this, don't freaking do it.
Yeah, I can't imagine waking up every day doing something I hate.
A lot of people do it. All right. So if you guys want to go out there and find a team with a personal brand, find a top producer, find someone that might be a top producer and transitioning their business, they're exiting, or they want to scale their business, talk to Lambert. He knows everyone. Every time I have an issue, a problem, or an opportunity, Lambert's always my first phone call. And more often than not, he helps me out. Or if he doesn't know, he's like, hey, you should talk to this person. Or here's an idea. Or what about this? That's a great idea, Lambert. Thank you. Or if you want to go out there and build your personal brand, talk to Lambert, because I know they run various masterminds. I know Eric O'Meara here. They got other masterminds going on now that they get together on a regular basis to go out there and focus on building their business on consistency. Get plugged into a mastermind, and definitely that can be part of building your personal brand.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy how inept some agents are, right? Like I meet a lot of agents that say, why'd you get your license? They go, I had such a shitty experience buying a home. I thought I can do this better, right? I mean, I remember during COVID, when we were on complete lockdown, I got a call and this guy goes, hey, I got a real problem with one of your agents. And I go, oh man, well, what's going on? He goes, they won't let me in the house to see it today. I go, well, they can't. He goes, well, sure they can. Just give me the lockbox code. I go, no, you legally can't show houses today.
Yeah.
Right. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, man, you need to get your shit together, right?
Have you turned on CNN the last
yeah,
month?
I mean, it's the same thing over the next couple months in this business, right? We're going to navigate some interesting stuff. You want to make sure you're in a position to do it right.
Yeah. One slide I skipped over here. Probably the summertime, we'll see some big changes come through with how commissions are structured and compensated. Right now is a great window. It is still absolutely free for your buyers to use until some of this commission stuff may change. So if you got people sitting on your fence, if you got people in the pipeline, as Jeremy said about lawn, you make your money. There's so much opportunity in the fence sitters out there. Go out there and let them know what's going on, because buying real estate right now is going to become most likely more expensive for buyers and more complex. So use you now. That's a great immediate tip you can do. Now, that's not going to probably work in 1, 2, 3 years, like the personal brandware. That's a really good tip I saw, I think, from Ryan Serhant. And I was like, wow, that's a great tip to go out there and say, hey, I can go out there, maybe squeeze a few more deals in there. That's good for you. And also, it'll help your buyers out, it'll help your clients out there to navigate this market and potentially save them some money out of pocket. All right. I think we got all the questions on here. We got all the slides here.
Good times, man.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I always love doing this stuff. So Lambert, thank you for doing this. I know, putting this stuff together always takes some time. We want to go out there and provide the most value. So everyone out there watching and listening, thank you guys so much. I see pretty much everyone stuck around for the hour and change wrap, which means, hey, we probably got some value on here. Let Jeremy know what help you need to go on. Let Jeremy know if it's worthwhile for us to do more like in-depth workshops, or to start a mastermind group on helping you go out there and build your personal brand. But work on your personal brand and commit to doing one piece of content a week. Quantity leads to quality. And guess what? I think we're at 480 or so podcasts. Divide that over 7 years. That averages out to more than one podcast a week. I am still meeting my damn goal. So I am still eating my own dog food, guys. I hope you do as well.
That's freaking awesome. And Jules, thank you behind the scenes. You're always the best professional.
Yes. I see a lot of people in the comments. Awesome. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. We got some requests for more in-depth workshops. You might have something on your to-do list now, Lambert.
All right. Well, get used to me in the studio in the bar. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, let's talk bars.
Maybe we got to do this later than 10 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Afternoon, so we can drink without being judged. Hey, guys, thank you so much. You're welcome. I appreciate the comments. If there's anything you guys want to talk about offline or in your tough spot in your business or life, reach out to me and Jeremy personally. We all have our ups and downs. We all know how life will punch you, then kick you, then stomp on your face on the ground. If you're in those spots, reach out to us. We want to do everything to help you out. So thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.